Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Audrey Marshall, Work-Based Learning Coordinator for Auburn City Schools. With me today, as always, is my partner in crime, Mrs. Amy Hanna, our career coach for both Auburn City Schools and Opelika City Schools. Along with us today, we are so pleased to introduce to you all Angela Moulton, who is the Vice President of Riverbank and Trust, and Boles Pegues, who is the Executive Vice President of the Lee County area for Riverbank. We are very excited to have them here. They have hosted 4 interns for us over the past 5 years, and we are really, really excited for them to talk with us today about careers in banking and finance. And with that, we will like for Ms. Moulton to go ahead and take the floor. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having us on. We really appreciate it and appreciate you guys and the opportunity that we have to work with the students there. It's been a great success, and we have enjoyed having the interns here to learn more about the banking industry. So just a little bit of background about me. I have been in banking for about 17 years. I actually started out as a part-time teller for what used to be AmSouth Bank. So I started in college at Auburn and decided that that what I'd started doing was not what I wanted to do once I got into banking. So when I started part time and fell in love with it. I love helping customers. I loved the banking industry and then everything about it. And so, with that being said, just some of the careers and opportunities and things that the banking industry offers. Most people know there's the teller position, and tellers are responsible for the day-to-day, taking deposits and cashing checks and taking payments and things like that from customers. You have the customer service representative who is responsible for, opening the new accounts and things like that. Of course, you've got your managers, your consumer lenders, commercial lenders. So your consumer lenders do more of like your consumer lending. It may be a customer that needs to buy a car or a customer that wants to build a house, or wants to buy a boat or an RV or anything like that. And then we have our commercial lenders who help more of our business side, that does more, maybe a restaurant that wants to open up or a bowling alley or things like that. And then we have what we call the secondary market lenders who do long-term fixed rates on your mortgages. So people that are buying a house and want a 30-year fixed rate, you can go to our secondary market lender to get those long-term fixed rates. And then, of course, we have the lending assistants, and those are our loan processors that process our documents and process our loans and do all of that. Then you've got, of course, accounting that runs the back office accounts and things. We have a whole compliance department to make sure that we're following all the rules and the regulations that the government puts out for us. Or, you may have an internal auditor. We have controller. We also have the careers in human resources, if that's something that you're interested in. So there's lots of different opportunities and options out there for anyone that actually wants to join, the banking industry. Now, for me, I'm the office manager here, so I do a little bit of all of it. I get an opportunity to do a little bit of everything. So I'm a lender. I also do new accounts. So you may see me, picking up trash out in the parking lot to opening a new account for a customer, or doing $1 million loan for a customer that wants to build his house. So I get the opportunity to do a little bit of all of it. Banking is one of those industries that we see change a lot over the years. I've seen, being in it the last several years, we've seen a lot of changes that have happened, and we continue to see those. We've seen a lot of changes just over the last 12 months, really 9 months, when you think of everything that has changed just since COVID hit. One of the things, that is ever changing, obviously, is the regulations and the rules, and those are constantly, that's why our compliance department is so important, to make sure that we're staying on top of those rules, we're staying on top of those regulations and things like that. Our industry over the next few years, I really just see it, we're going to have more and more regulations as things come out and as things change. Those are definitely going to impact us. And banking is really going more or less to a, more technology. People are doing the online banking. People are opening accounts online. People are, you know, a lot of people are doing their mortgages online. You may not ever talk to your mortgage lender, through the whole process. Um, Everything's done through email or through online or anything and things like that. So I mean, so there's definitely a lot of changes coming down the pipe, and things that are changing. Which just opens up more opportunities and things like that for people in the banking industry, because as things grow and things change, it just creates different opportunities and things for anybody wanting to go into the banking industry. I would say, one of the questions on here is, are there opportunities and advancements in this career? And I would say 150% yes.
Wow.
Starting just myself, for instance, I started off as a part-time teller and have worked my way up, where I am now the branch manager of the branch. You know, for somebody that is driven and willing to put in the time and put in the work and do what it takes, and work hard, whatever that may be, whether that's the extra hours or the extra the extra task or learning and everything. Anybody that's got the initiative to do that can absolutely advance and do other things in the banking industry. um, so there's definitely lots of opportunities and things that you can do and see and have. As far as education in the banking industry, there's lots of obviously when we're looking for positions, the first thing we obviously look at people that are coming out of college with their finance degree. Most people that want to go into banking, they go to college and get their finance or their business degree. There's also, is that necessarily a requirement? Not necessarily, but it is very, very much encouraged. We would rather have somebody that's got their finance degree. Do the best training that we can actually offer, or that we can say that you need, is really just on the job training. So I have learned more, just hands-on, go into the people in the industry that know more about it than you do. When I have a question, if I don't know something about a loan, or I don't know something about, a deposit product or something, you start by just going and asking those questions and going to the people that do know. Boles, who is my boss, is phenomenal at teaching me and really just training me up, and I hope to do that, and I hope that the people that work under me say the same thing, that we're constantly cross-training and constantly trying to teach them to better them to be better bankers. Alabama Bankers Association puts on a banking school every year. It's a 3-year banking school program that I was lucky enough to attend. That was phenomenal. And then, of course, then we also have our online training and things that we do constantly, that we're doing quarterly in the branch and within the bank, to keep us apprised of, any changes that may be going on or anything else that we need to know. And then, of course, Riverbank does a great job of, if there's something that we want to know more about, that we want to learn more about, that we can go get the training for it. We can go to the classes. We can go to a seminar or webinar or whatever that may be, to learn more about that.
Let me interrupt. This is Boles. Sorry about this. Sorry about that, Angela.
Oh, no, please do.
That some of these questions here with social media is out there, obviously, and to that, we're on social media, being a bank, and we do it from branding standpoint and staying in touch with our customers, and customers staying in touch with us. That being said, from the social standpoint, when we hire somebody, that's one of the first things we do is go out on social media and see what kind of lifestyle they are having. We're not being judgmental, but if somebody is not conducive, that is not conducive to the bank, hey, if you've done something, had a big time weekend, if you understand what I'm trying to allude to, it's your shadow. So you got to be patient about that. and just not being out there. I mean, some people get out there just to see themselves or hear themselves talk. So I just want to caution everybody that may be listening and getting into the workforce. Just know your social media is your shadow, and it's going to be with you here on out.
Such a great point, because we definitely look at that when we're getting ready to hire, and so many people I think forget that that's out there, and you can't erase that and you can't undo it, and it's there. So great point there. Um, some of the other questions I think you have on here: work-life balance, and how important is networking in this industry? So I'll start with the networking in this industry. And I think that is, Boles and I were talking about it earlier, 150%, I would say, as far as like ranking it on importance, because there's so many things that networking can help you with, can do for you. We have friends in the banking industry that we can call up, and if something's changing or something's going on, we can call up and say, hey, how is your bank handling this? Or what are you guys doing in this situation? Is there something that we can do better? Is there something that we can learn from it? What can we do? Then there's also networking as far as, from a customer standpoint, we're getting to know our customers, and, we're out there, getting our name out there and our brand out there, and getting to know everybody, and letting them know Riverbank is here, and we're here to serve them, and we're here to help them in whatever that need and whatever that may be. So getting out there and networking and getting to know people in any way that you can is huge in this industry. Such a great thing for anybody in this industry. Um, as far as a work-life balance, Bowles said it best when he says that, nothing is perfect. And I totally 100% agree with that. But I can't speak for other banks. I can't speak for what other banks allow their employees to do. I know for Riverbank, we are extremely blessed to work for a company that puts family first, and has the priorities, I feel like, in the right order. Because just for me personally, I have two kids, that one, in high school, one in middle school, that are very active in school sports. And, it's the biggest blessing ever that, I'm able to go to my kids' games. I'm able to be there for my kids, and whatever that may mean. And I don't stress about it. Now, on the flip side, does that mean there are nights that I'm working late? Yes. Does that mean I come in early? Yes. Does that mean there's weekends that we have to work? Absolutely. I still have a job to do, and my job still has to get done. And so I 100%, my job is top of that list, and I have to make sure that my job is done first. But I'm also lucky enough to have and work for a great company and a great boss that understands that I can, and allows me to do that.
I tell you, let me interrupt.
Yeah,
Angela.
absolutely.
Great point on that. I don't know of any job that you can be successful from 8 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody just wants to log those type hours, I get that, and there's people out there that just want to just log those minimum hours and go to the house. I get that, but if you want to hone your aspects of life, it takes hours upon hours. I was reading a book the other day. It said it takes a minimum of 10,000 hours to be good at whatever you're trying to accomplish. And there was a good example that Mozart started composing at 6 years old. And my understanding that at 21, he finally composed something that was adequate or acceptable. So to that, Angela's in her 19s, and I'm 59. I said, "Hey, you still have hope, because I'm still trying to hone my skills. I'm still learning how to manage. I'm still learning how to underwrite loans. I'm still trying to understand banking. There's something new every day that I learn in banking. So I think everybody on this call, Zoom, will attest to that. I don't care if it's playing ball or ballet or singing. hopefully it's not social media. You're trying to better yourself on that. Let's stay away from that. Thank you.
So true. And I think the last question is, what are some things that I wish that I did differently? And actually, really and truthfully, I don't wish that I had done anything differently. I think it all worked out the way it was supposed to, and I'm very thankful because if um, I hadn't have done those things, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So I'm thankful for all the lessons learned and all the opportunities that have been given to me over the years.
Well, that's great. I do want to make a couple of mentions on some things that you were saying. I know you, well, okay. You were talking about the Alabama Bankers Association. Is that still the same thing as the AI Alabama, what was it, the Association or Institute of Banking, that they do the courses? I know when I first started out in my career too, I was in banking too, and those were some really neat courses for professional development. So how do you get about doing that? Just anybody who's a part of the branch is able to take those courses? How does that usually work?
So for the most part, now of course we wouldn't, it depends on what your job is. If it's going to help you in your job, we definitely wouldn't want, our human resource director is not going to go to a lending class, if that makes sense. I mean, she can, don't get me wrong, but just tailored to whatever your job specific, things are. But yes, that's probably the same thing that you had when you started out.
So just professional development, like you all both were saying, is very, very important. And I really
Yes,
love
absolutely.
the fact that you were talking about you just never stop learning, just never stop
don't.
learning. And that's in any
No,
career
ma'am.
field. Ms. Hannah,
Yes.
I'm not going to talk over too much. You go ahead, and do you have any questions or comments too? Okay. Sure.
I can't hear you.
Okay, thank
There we
you.
go.
Just want to say thank you both so much. You touched on all the important things, all the things that I had in mind to ask you. Really, you addressed. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate so much what you do for our kids.
Yeah.
I love what you said about how, there are opportunities from all different walks of life. So we talk to kids a lot about how so many industries, employers, local companies offer on-the-job training. Can you just kind of reiterate again, if I were to ask you the question, do you have to have a college degree to succeed in the banking industry? I just want to make it clear to students that yes, we think obviously of accounting and finance and the business majors, and that's what you typically see, I'm sure. But I did speak to a student just this week who said, I'm really interested in banking and I want to learn about being financially healthy. And so can you talk about just opportunities for a student that might not be a college-bound student?
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely think that obviously I want to recommend everybody to go to college, to do that, but it's not a requirement per se, because anybody, if you are willing to put in the work and you're willing to go the extra mile and you're willing to learn, you can learn so much just on the job training. Once you get your, if you're willing to take the initiative to do it.
Hey, let me interrupt. Let me speak to that. Just in this office, I can speak to 3, 4, 5 employees that do not have a college degree. All right, let's go into that. What type positions do they have? Hey, some are on the retail side where they're interacting with the customer base, answering the phones, and then we have some that are in the back rooms. So let's go even further. The staff that's out here on the front lines, they're our face of the bank. We have had multiple employees that are on the front lines move on up within the bank, whether it be in operations or continuation of retail, but a higher level. In the back rooms, there's the different personalities of everybody makes the world go around. So we have staff that could care less being interactive with the retail side. So to that, I'm not saying just because they're in the back rooms that they don't like to do that, but they chose to. And they are vital aspects within the bank, meaning, as Angela mentioned about compliance, in banking regulation, they keep us on track out here out front on the loan side or deposit side, making sure we're complying with banking regulations. So to that, no, it does not. You do not have to have a college degree. I will tell you, experience is well said. I said back in the day, Audrey, that if you were in the Opelika High School band under certain leadership, I mean that showed me that you were very disciplined because you were out there in the summer at the heat of the day, and some passing out and some not. And then I will tell you, they won competition after competition. And this, in addition to sports and non-sporting aspects. So I want to reiterate, no, it's not necessary to have a college degree. It goes back to having to hone your skills, and you get a lot of seat time, hours. It's your choosing. Once you get into the banking, this is pretty well across the board. Every quarter, the staff, whether you're on loan side or deposit side or what have you, there's probably about 6 tests that you have to take. And not only that, as Angela mentioned, there's the ABA courses that are out there to take advantage of. To even go to another level from a standpoint of Angela, she did the 3-year stint with the ABA. There's LSU Banking School, which is a 3-year program. There's Oklahoma State, I think, Virginia, the list goes on. So you can go as far as you want to with education, but you don't have to have a college degree.
I love it. Thank you for putting it in that light. One last question also. I'm sorry, Audrey, let me know if we need to cut it off. I love what you both said about social media. And we hear this from others as well. And we promote so often that you do the right thing even when no one is looking. So that's the concept. Along those lines, do you see any one skill, let's say, or just even 2 or 3 top skills that you absolutely have to have? We talk about communication, we talk about teamwork and collaboration and things like that. Is there any 1 or 2 skills that you say we've got to have them in everyone?
Communicating.
Yeah.
Whether you're communicating via email, I'll tell you, I probably text 10 customers this morning. I got text last night with customers. So what I'm driving at is how you respond. If you have somebody that's frustrating you, whether it's a staff member or a customer, you need to refrain from how you truly feel. And so you need to learn how to communicate with people. And then obviously communicating with people eyeball to eyeball, as I call it. And it is so important because if you flip it, if you're the receiving end of a bank employee communicating with you and you're not doing what you need to do, I mean, it just turns you off. Just go to McDonald's, go to Dillard's, go to an Auburn football game. Whoever is being hospitable to you, you like that. You love that. And so, the golden rule, doing to others. So that would be ultimate from that standpoint. And then be willing to take on task and roll your sleeves up and do the dirty work. I promise you that. Here's a quick, you got a couple more minutes. This is a true story. That's from Auburn University. Gentleman graduated, I think it was in finance, and right out of the chute, making $200,000, and had his own office with a window. And he started, I don't know how many weeks into the employment, but it wasn't long. So he and his buddy decided to have a big old weekend. And guess what they did? They posted quite a bit of it on social media. When he came back Monday morning, guess what was at the foot of his office door? His box of personal items. And it says, "You're fired." And that guy was making $200,000 right out of college in finance, and that's probably unheard of. So that's a great example. I just don't get it. Call me old school or call me an old head or old goat. But I just don't get people think they've got to show themselves that, hey, I'm interacting in this conversation, that you really don't need to, or you don't should have an opinion of it. Silence is golden.
That's an important point there. I think we're just in this age where everybody wants to just see me a lot of times, and that sometimes seeing you is not what we need to do with that. We don't need to see everything. But we really, as Mrs. Hannah said, thank you both for being with us. You mentioned the community outreach and building relationships, and we are most appreciative of the relationship that we built with Riverbank and Trust. You have been a community supporter. We are very thankful for you all, and we appreciate your time here today. And with that, we are going to sign off, and thank you all for joining today.
Thank you.